The entire 42nd floor smelled faintly of expensive cologne and power. Through the glass walls of Sterling Global's executive lounge, the skyline stretched endlessly, a kingdom ruled by one man, Alexander Sterling, billionaire, media darling, and a CEO whose arrogance was as legendary as his fortune. And today, in front of half the senior board, he was smirking at a woman who wasn't supposed to belong in his world. Camille Johnson, the night shift janitor. Her gloves were still damp from mopping the marble lobby when she was summoned upstairs for entertainment. Before we proceed, kindly like and subscribe. Let's make this interesting, Alexander said, lounging in a custom Italian suit that cost more than her yearly salary. His voice carried that lazy cruelty of a man who had never been told no in his life. Beat me at chess and I'll marry you. A ripple of laughter moved through the room. Phones were raised discreetly. This wasn't a competition. It was a spectacle. A billionaire toying with the help. Camille said nothing at first. She simply took the seat opposite him, her expression unreadable. The board was set. Ladies first, Alexander gestured, leaning back as if granting a child a turn of a toy. Camille looked at the board once. Only once. Then she touched her first pawn. Move 1. Move 2. Move 3. Alexander's smirk faltered. By the 4th move, the laughter in the room had gone quiet. By the 5th, his king was trapped. Checkmate, she said softly, removing her gloves like a surgeon stepping away from a finished operation. Alexander blinked at the board, then at her, as if trying to compute what had just happened. The silence was electric. Somewhere in the back, an intern's phone caught the final position on camera, a perfect digital record of the moment the king was brought down. Camille stood, her voice calm but sharp enough to cut through the air. Maybe next time, you'll think twice before assuming the person cleaning your office doesn't know how to play the game better than you. Alexander forced a smile for the audience, but there was something in his eyes, the flicker of a man realizing it just underestimated the wrong opponent. The video would go viral in less than an hour. But what no one in that room knew, not yet, was that this 5-move defeat was only the opening gambit in a much bigger game. Because Camille Johnson didn't just come to work for a paycheck. She had come with a plan. The next morning, Sterling Global's headquarters felt different. Not louder, not quieter, just charged like static before a lightning strike. The clip had hit the internet at 11:42 p.m. By sunrise, it had been reposted on every major social platform with captions like, "Billionaire CEO humiliated in 5 moves. The janitor who checkmated power." The comments were merciless. "Queen takes king, poetic justice." Alexander Sterling just lost more than a chess game. In the executive boardroom, a junior VP was scrolling through Twitter when Alexander walked in. The phone vanished into a pocket instantly, but the damage was already done. The smirk, the glance, the unspoken, we all saw it. Alexander didn't address the elephant in the room. He simply opened the meeting with, "We have more important things to discuss than a meaningless game." But his voice was tighter than usual. Down on the service floor, Camille was pushing her mop bucket past the staff cafeteria when 2 marketing interns practically jumped out of her way. One whispered, "That's her," and the other asked for a selfie. She refused politely, not because she was shy, but because she knew the attention was temporary. Viral fame fades. Her real plan required patience. That afternoon, a private email from Alexander's assistant arrived in her inbox. Subject, dinner invitation. Mr. Sterling would like to extend an apology for yesterday's misunderstanding. He requests your company for dinner this Friday at La Rue. Camille read the message twice, then closed it without replying. Her roommate, Nadia, nearly fell off the couch when Camille told her, "Girl, La Rue? That's not just dinner. That's a move. He's trying to flip the script, make you his little PR redemption story." Camille smiled faintly. "And if I say yes, he'll think I'm playing his game. If I say no, he'll think I'm scared to face him again. Either way, he underestimates me." What Alexander didn't know, what no one in Sterling Global knew, was that Camille Johnson had once been ranked among the top 50 chess players in the country. And more importantly, she wasn't here by accident. Every mop she pushed, Every trash can she emptied was part of something much bigger. Something that started 3 years ago, when her father's small tech company was destroyed by a hostile corporate takeover. A takeover led by Alexander Sterling. Camille opened her laptop that night. On the screen, a spreadsheet full of internal Sterling global data glowed under her fingers. She was careful, pulling only what she needed, piece by piece. Because in this game, checkmate wouldn't come in 5 moves. It would take months, maybe years. But when it came, it wouldn't just topple a king. It would burn down his entire kingdom. Alexander Sterling wasn't a man who accepted humiliation easily. For 3 days, he said nothing about the chess incident. For 3 days, Camille went about her work like nothing had happened. But by the 4th morning, subtle changes began. Her mop bucket was accidentally removed from her station. Her ID badge was flagged for routine verification, forcing her to wait 15 minutes at security. Her break schedule was adjusted, so she no longer crossed paths with most of the other staff. It was Alexander's way of reminding her he owned the board. That afternoon, while Camille was wiping down the glass railing outside the executive suite, she overheard 2 assistants whispering. Mr. Sterling had someone run a background check. On the cleaner? That's insane. No, what's insane is nothing came up. No debts, no social media, no history before 2019. Camille kept her movements calm, but inside, she smiled. Exactly as planned. Alexander's private investigator, Miles Doran, was one of the best in the country. And yet, after a week of digging, all he had was a thin file of public records. Birth certificate, Louisiana. Last known employment, hotel housekeeping, New Orleans. 0 criminal history. No photographs older than 5 years. It was like she had appeared out of nowhere. This isn't normal, Miles told Alexander over a late-night brandy. It's either an immaculate coincidence or she's hiding something on purpose. Meanwhile, Camille was in her tiny apartment, flipping through a leather notebook. Inside, page after page held diagrams, not chessboards, but Sterling Global's corporate structure, subsidiaries, shell companies, shady offshore accounts. She had been working on this for nearly 2 years, feeding herself with cleaning jobs while slowly peeling back the layers of Sterling's empire. The viral chess match hadn't been a fluke. It had been a signal. To the one ally she still trusted, a former board member Alexander had betrayed. Sure enough, 2 days later, a plain envelope arrived under her apartment door. Inside was a flash drive, 1 file, 1 video. Enough to cause a scandal that could wipe billions off Sterling Global's stock price, if released at the right moment. But timing was everything. Strike too early, and Alexander might survive. Wait too long, and he might find out who she really was. That Friday night, Alexander's dinner invitation still sat unanswered in her inbox, so she wrote back with just 4 words. Name the time. Your move. The Sterling Penthouse restaurant wasn't open to the public. It was Alexander's private domain, 52 floors above the city, 1 table, 1 chef, and a wall of glass looking out over a sea of lights. Camille arrived in a simple black dress. No jewelry, no makeup beyond a faint gloss. Alexander noticed. No attempt to impress me? He asked, pulling out her chair. Camille met his gaze. Why try to impress someone who already underestimated me? The chef served scallops with saffron cream, but neither of them touched the food. Alexander leaned in, voice low. You intrigue me. People who intrigue me usually end up either working for me or against me. Which is it? Camille smiled faintly. What if I said I was already working above you? He chuckled, but there was tension in his jaw. You like dangerous games. I like games where the stakes are worth my time, she replied. Halfway through the meal, a server brought a small tablet for Alexander. Urgent market updates. Camille watched as his expression changed from calm to barely concealed alarm. A stock alert. Sterling Global shares had dipped by 4% in just 1 hour. Anonymous posts on financial forums hinted at damaging evidence about the company's offshore dealings. Alexander's eyes narrowed. Coincidences make me suspicious, he muttered. Camille sipped her wine. They should. The rest of the dinner was a dance of veiled threats and cryptic remarks. Camille left without dessert, her heels echoing against the marble floor. When the elevator doors closed, she allowed herself a breath. Inside her clutch, the same flash drive now had a tracking device embedded. A device she had slipped into Alexander's leather portfolio while he was distracted by the stock alert. She didn't need to guess what he'd do next. He'd call in his lawyers, his PR team, his crisis managers, and in the process, he'd reveal every secret file location she needed to bring him down. That night, as the city slept, Camille looked out her window. She wasn't just in his world anymore. She was inside his head. The game had moved to its final phase. The first headlines dropped on a rainy Thursday morning. Sterling Global tied to offshore fraud. Anonymous whistleblower leaks evidence of tax evasion, illegal labor practices. Every major news outlet ran with the story. Within hours, Sterling Global stock price went into free fall. Not 4% this time, but 27%. Shareholders demanded answers. The board demanded Alexander's resignation. In his glass-walled office, Alexander stared at the leaked files projected on the news feed. Exact documents from his private servers. Internal memos, payment trails, names, dates. All of it was real. All of it was damning. And in the corner of his desk, a plain envelope. No return address. Inside was a single photograph. Camille holding hands with Lily at the school pickup, both smiling. On the back, handwritten in neat script, "Never underestimate the people you think are invisible." Alexander's empire crumbled in weeks. The penthouse was sold. The board replaced him. Investigations multiplied. And while he fought to salvage his legacy, Camille quietly resigned from her cleaning job. She moved into a modest apartment with her daughter, tuition at the academy fully paid, courtesy of an anonymous donor. The truth was, Camille hadn't done it for revenge alone. She'd done it because Lily deserved a world where power didn't excuse cruelty. When Lily asked her one night, "Mama, why did you stop working for Mr. Sterling?" Camille smiled gently. "Because some jobs aren't worth keeping, even if they pay well. Respect is worth more than money. Never mistake humility for weakness. The person you overlook might be the one holding the match that can burn your empire to the ground." Alexander Sterling thought he was untouchable, but all it took was one black cleaner with courage, patience, and a plan to prove that even billionaires can bleed. Kindly subscribe for more interesting and powerful stories.